Hello everybody, welcome back to the classroom for our second episode of the day. I'm spoiling all you guys, but I love making these for you. So, from last time, we worked on our lives and a death box. For today, we needed a little bit of extra space. So, I've created a whole new island for us. Woo! Yeah! Keep your applause not too loud, we're still in a classroom. So for today, I'm going to be doing something special with you guys. Today, we are going to be making enemies. It's going to be a very basic, and they're more of obstacles than actual enemies because it's not using actual AI, but maybe in the future, I'll figure out something and I can teach you guys some proper AI. It'll probably be more in 3D space than 2D, but for now, this is all we got. So, to get started, let me just pull up my notes. We gotta make a new game class. Well, not game class, game object. We're just gonna create an empty game object and call this enemy master, as we're gonna be turning this into a prefab. We're gonna reset the position, and we're gonna create a 2D sprite of a square, and we're just gonna call this one enemy. Now we're going to go into our sprites and we're going to pick out an enemy. What the? I did not add that. I kind of want to make that our enemy now, but no, we gotta. Why is there so much? If I'm being honest, I have no idea. But it's kind of funny. So let's just. This one works. We're gonna add this little guy. And so everything is right. Everything's at position 0. So how this class is gonna pretty much work is it's gonna take some stuff from our platform classes with how it moves. But I'm gonna add probably a bit of extra stuff just to spice it up a little bit. So let's create a new script. We're going to call this one enemy. Alright, now that we have our enemy class loaded up, we're going to add a few special things. So first, we're going to get rid of our void start as we don't need it. And we're going to add a public transform starting position and end position. Next, we're going to add a bool at end equals false. Now this all does look similar, as this is mostly just the same code as our previous script. Equals 2.0. Alright, so we're going to make a function, and we're going to call this void enemy movement. Then inside, we're going to add an if statement called if at end equals false. Well, it just has that, which automatically just checks if it's false. Then we're going to do transform.position equals vector2 dot move towards transform.position and position dot position time dot delta time times speed. Yeah, this is exactly just the same code as our actual platform, but we're adding this just so it can make it look like the enemy is moving back and forth seamlessly. We're going to do GameObject.transform.localScale equals new vector 3. The first one's just going to be 1. Next is going to be GameObject.transform.localScale.y and GameObject.transform.localScale.z or z. Now you just change this variable to either 1, -1, or whatever size the actual thing is going to be. Like if you scale it up to 2 times, you'd put 2 there. Next we're going to do else, and pretty much we can just copy this same script because it's just going to be this pretty much the exact same thing. And we don't need to change anything in our first line except changing the end position to starting position. And all we're changing in here in our local scale is just making this -1. Next, we're adding our check to see if it's at the end position. So transform.position.x equals starting position.position.x at end equals false. Else if transform.position.x equals end position.position.x. And then just at end equals true. Save that. And then to actually make this an enemy, we're going to add a collision. So it'll be collision, it'll be void, if I can type, on collision, enter 2D. And then all we're adding is if collision.gameObject.tag equals player, make sure it is capital, collision.gameObject.getComponent player controller and take damage. And this is completely optional, but you can also just destroy the game object after it is done, after it pretty much collides with the player. You won't always want to do this, as sometimes you'd want like the enemy to still be around, maybe give the player invincibility frames, but for now we'll just have it destroy the enemy just so it's not a little annoying. And we're going to call this in the update. So we're just going to call enemy movement within the update. Now if we go back, we have a lot of stuff to fill. So first we are going to move our enemy into where his little biome is, with this little sandy spot. And we're just going to add to, no, we're not having it there. We're going to add it in here to empty game objects. This one's going to be called end position. And this one's going to be called starting position. Yeah, I think I just smashed the keyboard there. Alright, so let's just add that for our starting and that for the end. And to show them, you click gizmos. They're over there, that's why. Alright, so we're just going to move the starting position right there, where our enemy is, and the end position right there. So it's just going to sort of patrol this island. Next, going back into here, we're going to just slide in that, and slide in that, right into the 2 position slots. Now if we click play, and we try to make our way over to that island, you see our little guy right there. Now, it is moving the opposite way, as it looks like I did just flip the scale, but that is easily fixable. And as you see, it doesn't collide. Now we're going to first fix the problem with this. So all we have to do is just Swap them. This isn't 100% foolproof and dynamic, as they can only go like from one specific way. Like you can't flip the starting and end or also do that exact problem. But for now, this is fine how it is. And then all we're going to do is add a 2D box collider onto the enemy, and we're going to just edit the collider a little bit by shrinking it down. So if you click edit collider within the collider, it will fix it a little bit, just so you know you're not hitting the enemy when it doesn't even look like you did. Yeah, exactly like that. Alright, so if we click play and just go back, our jumping is a little high. It should always be fixed. You see, it does work how it's supposed to. And if we just let him hit us, apparently the game just crashes. I apologize for that little inconvenience. This is why it is very good practice to just save as you go, because my Unity did freeze and I had to fully shut it down and had to remake our enemy. But you guys didn't have to see any of that, only me. So if we go back, everything should be working now and it shouldn't crash again. Right. You know, it's always the little things. I forgot to add our box collider. But yeah, there you go. It just sends you right back. Once you take damage, you know, we just went straight to 0. So it is just peace of mind. Just make sure you add a collider onto your thing, and also you save your project as you go, because it's very annoying when it crashes and it's like, oh, it never crashed for me, but it will. You will eventually get a crash. And there we go. So that is our basic enemy with the health, where when you take damage we instantly die. And here's our little islands. So to make that a prefab, all you're gonna have to do is just drag it right in as a prefab. Now we already have an enemy in here, but this was like from when we first started making this to like just show instantiating. I'll probably be adding a bit more onto the game, but if there's anything that you guys want me to add, just put a message right in the comments and I will look into those. Thank you so much for joining us for this class, and I hope you all have a great day.